Do I have to go up? Can I go sideways? I think this works. And we should be live. Hello.
Happy Snowy Tuesday.
Happy Snowy Tuesday, 2222, and I don't know how many twos are even there. Tuesday, February 2, 22 of 2022. That's about like 7 twos.
That's a lot of twos.
That's a lot of twos.
That's twos coming out of your twos.
Right. So tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about things that have been collected, I would say. Not always on purpose. Sometimes we run into a situation where we're at an investigation and we find there's an item that they feel more safer not having that item in their house. And
so they say, take it with you.
Yep. So they're like, take this with you. And in many cases, we dispose of a lot of those items, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But in some cases, those items end up in our office. They provide a memory of a testimony of a time that we had a certain type of case. And yeah, it really works for us.
Yeah. Shows our successes or helps us to remember cases we enjoyed. Or,
right.
Things like that.
So, and there's the occasion when we collect up an item at an investigation where we're interested in a memory. And that might be if we do a larger type building or something of that effect. We will ask if we can have an item if we see it laying there. And always asking permission, of course. But hey, without further ado, let's get started. Let's get started right now. Now, on the back wall there, you can see a number of items. And what we're going to do tonight, I wouldn't stretch it out to call it a museum or anything, but we've had a fair share of opportunity to gather up items. And I'm going to see if I can switch this around because I think I just hit this, right? Whoop. Uh-oh.
Hey,
Okay.
we're back.
Oh, man, I messed that up. I'm trying to figure out how to flip my camera around. There we go. There's Mark. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, technical difficulties. We're back on. So, first thing we're going to talk about, and I'm going to actually take my shoes off here. We actually had a request for this type of storyline for our live Facebook. And our first object of conversation is this doll up here. And somebody said to me, they saw it in the background, and they said, hey, where did that doll come from? And that's kind of where the whole idea to talk about this stuff came from. So I'll tell you right now, this doll actually really has special meaning to me. It was something that I found in an attic, and this attic really had some unusual energy in it. I'm going to switch to Mark, let him tell you the quick story about that attic.
So, I had gone up there by myself. I think I went up there first, right?
Right.
And I sat down in a chair by the window, and I felt a presence behind me, and it was, excuse me, my little course. It was very, I don't know, it was upset. It was a negative thing, and I'm like, I was getting mad. I'm yelling at it. I'm like, just get out, get out of there, because it was bugging me. And eventually, Russ and I switched, and you said the same thing happened to you.
Yeah, I went up into the attic, and where that doll was, in that box, it was closed in that box at the time, buried underneath a pile of stuff in the walk-in attic. And Mark and I are both experiencing horrible energy up there because whatever spirit was up in there, whatever ghost was up in there, was very angry that we were up there. And when a ghost has an energy like anger and you're in its space, you can take on that energy. So whenever we went up there to that attic, we would get uptight and angry, and it was just weird. But so we're up there and we're like, well, we need to measure this attic out good with our meters to see what type of electromagnetic energy's up there.
It was a great attic.
It was great. And so I'm going up there, and Mark's on one side, I'm on the other. We got the meters going, and I'm on the trail. Grab me a meter, maybe.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, of course. Our meters are all like buried. They're in here. Okay. And so I got a meter out, and I'm measuring a significant amount of energy, and I'm following it like I'm on the trail or something.
You're using a millimeter.
Yes. And this is the millimeter, probably the exact millimeter I was using. And I'm going along the basement, and there's boxes, and there's just stuff piled high. And it's closer and closer, and all of a sudden I'm measuring energy right by this old red box. And I'm like, I need to check this out. I flip this box open, and this doll, I don't know if you would call her a pin doll. I'm not sure what you would call her. But I don't know. I just fell in love with the atmosphere of this doll and that old red box. And the energy dissipated and it moved on. Whatever it was, the spirit had moved on to another location in that attic. And I was left with that box in my hand. I'm like, I'm going to ask if I could take this box home. And that box had been sitting in their attic for who knows how long. And they ended up letting us have that box with that doll. So that's a case where, okay, it wasn't haunted, but it was just an object that I don't know. I guess a lot of you who are into antiques and different things, you might know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you see something and it just hits you right in the heart. But so that was asked that we would talk about that doll and tell our story. And let's tell about some more. How about this book up here, Mark?
Okay, so the book, it's a number of years ago. That's probably the first thing we brought back, right?
Yeah. Let's take this down and I'll have you hold it while you're telling the story about it.
Okay, so this book was at an apartment down in the metro. And the woman that lived there was when she was there, she always felt something around her, watching her while she slept, while she showered. Sometimes it would get on top of her. And it changed her moods, her emotions. Her mom even said that she was a completely different person.
Yeah, so, and it was so bad that she couldn't even stay in the apartment anymore.
Right, she started saying...
Had literally stopped staying in the apartment.
So we were going through the things. We always ask questions, have you brought anything into your place, etc. And this was in a pile of books that she brought. And then this one read high. And we eventually saged it, but
yeah,
this was one that she...
I mean, we had the meter out, and it was 0.05, if I remember right.
Yeah, and I think even higher.
And it wouldn't go away.
Yeah, so we saged it and put it aside. So then later, this is a cool book too, by the way.
Yeah.
But so later... Talk about the friend?
Yeah, we could. You want me to take over for a minute?
If you want.
I know you got a scratchy voice tonight. Maybe there's good light. So, after we go ahead and sage the book, the energy dissipates off the book. Whatever cord was attached to this book by whatever spirit was now cut and detached. And it's not more than 5 5-10 minutes max go by, and one of our investigators, is everything working?
No, we're good. We're good.
Oh, okay. One of our investigators is in that back bedroom, and she starts cussing.
So, just a little preamble on that. She wouldn't go into that room.
Yeah, initially she wouldn't go near it.
So we were sitting in the living room doing an audio session, and she got up, and I thought maybe she was going to the bathroom.
Right.
But she went into the room, and I'm like, that's not good. So I went in there, and then she was pinned up against that piece of furniture.
Yeah.
And she started screaming at me.
Just
like swearing.
Like I've never heard her.
It's not normal for her. So.
Yep. And so in short, one of our investigators, what we might call transient possession, a temporary short-term possession, and she says, in the words of that spirit who, that person who had passed, is using her voice.
Yeah, she had taken on a deeper
she's
voice,
got this deep
angry
voice, and she's like, he's just angry that we had cut the cord that he had attached to this book.
We took his book, yeah.
Yeah, he said, "Give me my stuff back. Give it back."
Yeah, he was yelling.
He's just angry, and we've got a lot of other stuff to show. Long story short, I had a conversation with that spirit, being the opportunity was there, and we actually crossed him over into the light. Yeah. And all was well, considering how mad he was.
Oh, he was so mad.
That's the story about the book. I'll set that back up there. Whoa!
Oh, the doll almost jumped out.
Okay. Shoes?
Should we do the shoes next?
Let's talk about the shoes.
Here, I'll grab the shoes down.
Okay. Now again, for anybody who's just starting to watch, we are discussing...
Can you see that one off?
Yes. Why don't we step on this side so the light's by you, though? We are discussing different items that we have collected, whether on purpose or a family that we had done a paranormal investigation at is like, I don't want that in my home anymore. Take that with you. Or business. And in this case, it was a business.
It was. We had a lot of great experiences at this business, and maybe we should do a segment completely just on this.
Sometime, yeah. Well, we'll just give it a brief.
But the owner and a couple of the employees had talked about these shoes creeping them out. And we did get readings off of them, if I remember right.
Right.
But they were down in the tunnel system. So we went down to the basement, and you had to go around this cistern, and then it opened up, and that would have been part of the old tunnel system under that town. And these were just sitting up on a ledge, and they're like, yeah, just take them with you, get rid of them.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, though, my voice is all weird tonight, too. I don't know why I got this little, juvenile type ending to all my sentences. My throat must be dry in here, but... But hey, all right, so one of the complaints that the people at the business had was in the back room, the waitresses and such that were working back there were feeling something groping on their legs.
Yeah, like
grabbing their legs and I don't know if you'd say it was trying to pull them down, but they were getting weird gropey feelings on their bottom of their pants, like something was trying to pull them into the floor. And there was a lot of attitude. A lot of personalities were being affected by whatever was in that building at the time. And where they were feeling the pulling on their legs, their pant legs,
was right over that space.
Was right in the space above where those shoes were. And so we talked to the business owners about it. And long story short, they went ahead and said, hey, get them shoes out of here. And when we get them out of there, what do we do, Mark? We salt them.
Oh, yeah. So whenever we take something out of a place, we'll salt it, bag it up, and, take it here and
right.
It ends up on our shelves. But
Right.
we might sage it. This was really... depends on.
Yeah, it depends on it. We either sage it or we bag and salt it. I want to say hi. There's a lot of people coming through here.
There really is.
Jackie, hello, Linda, Nick, Brian.
Joshua is there.
Yes, I can hardly keep up with the names. I got so carried. Well, we keep switching the phone back and forth. I'm going to try to say more of the names as we go along. But that's the shoe. So, in essence, a lot of people, hello, Maria. We just are talking about a few items that have kind of come from locations that we have been on investigation at. So far, we've talked about the doll, the book, and the shoes. Hello, Shannon. Hello, Rita. Let's talk about something that we've collected.
Just as a memory?
As a memory. Yeah, grab an item up there that...
let's do this guy.
Oh, that's a great one.
This guy caught your eye.
That is. And this one came from Twin Valley, right?
Yeah.
I think I wrote on the bottom of it, yeah. So we're out of Twin Valley. We're working in
It had been an old
assisted living.
Home, yeah.
And in that large building, it was a large, couple stories high, there was a large chapel inside this thing. And the assisted living had closed. It was in the middle of being remodeled for the use of a future business. But the folks called us in and said, you know, there's a weird energy in this building. We're wondering if you guys come check it out. And we did. And we're in the chapel. And I don't know, how's the best way to say it, Mark?
So you and I were sitting, I don't know if we were doing an audio session.
Audio session, yep.
We had our meters out. We were on these tables by the windows. And in between us and the far wall was tables and a bunch of chairs. Storage,
yeah, they were all...
We wouldn't be able to get through it.
Yep.
All of a sudden, something just came from that opposite. It's almost sounded like it came off the wall or something.
The back wall,
and it
yeah.
just came scurrying through those chairs at us.
Yeah.
And it was loud.
And it was kind of frightening because you could hear the energy coming through all those tables and chairs and getting closer and closer.
Right at us.
And it came right up to the table where we were sitting. And everything was just creaking and,
yeah.
I mean, it was amazing. Frightening isn't a word. I don't think we really get frightened, but
it was great.
It was an amazing experience. Hello, Terry. But a long story short is that chapel was such an interesting place for us that we were walking around and I saw this chapel. Now, keeping in mind that this place is literally torn apart. And lo and behold, we find that little tiny chapel sitting on a shelf.
And they're like, go ahead.
And they're like, take it. I said, because it really just fit the entire investigation.
Yeah, it's a good memory.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it.
So, well, let's talk, as long as we're talking about little mementos, let's talk about this little guy quick. Now, it's kind of a homely looking little bat, really. I mean,
it is.
There's nothing fancy about this.
He's cute in his own little way, I guess.
But we had gotten called in to do an old hotel that was potentially, they were trying to sell this hotel. This is up in La Prairie, Minnesota. And at the time, I think they thought that they could potentially sell it.
Yeah.
I believe it's torn down now.
They did tear it down, yes.
But at the time, they didn't know that. This is 2 years ago, a year or two ago. And we go up there and potentially clear the spirits and the energy that's in this location. But it was a very interesting, because it wasn't the average bar and hotel. In the center of this bar and hotel was the original establishment dating back to essentially the 1800s.
1800s, yeah.
And they just kept building onto this old, and it looked like an old house. I mean, it was, in the center of this building was an old house, buried into the center.
And the basement was below it.
Of this hotel. And in the basement, there was a bunch of weird fenced-in areas. Looked like chickens or something. I mean, it was just weird. That's all I could say. But in that old house, I mean, this place is, again, is for the most part empty, and we're digging around and measuring stuff, and hiding underneath this table is this little bat. And that's probably giving this bat a lot more of a build-up than it probably deserves. But
it's just a reminder of a great investigation.
It was a reminder of a great investigation. And lo and behold, that place is now completely gone. I mean, there's nothing at all for anyone in life to remember that place. But we do have that small bat. How are we doing for time?
We got 10 minutes left.
10 minutes. We got all kinds of time. Let's talk about the cross a bit, and then I'll have you talk about the spell book.
Okay, we can. Yeah.
So, and this cross came from a home out in Ogilvie.
Ogilvie, yeah.
And all this stuff is from Minnesota. This is a very, very heavy piece. And
yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But that piece was given to a man to supposedly be of, a spiritual help to him. But that wasn't the case.
Hold on a second, let me interrupt. Shannon says you can go get Elmo from Rosedale.
Oh, yeah?
Does Elmo still talk, Shannon? We'll see if she answers that. Go ahead.
All right. We would take you up on that, no doubt about it. But anyway, this had the opposite effect on this man, and he hid it in a big, heavy cabinet.
Yeah, because I opened the cabinet door. I'm like, why is this in here? And you're like, I told him to leave it out.
Yeah, I told him to leave it out, but he was feeling such bad energy from it. And I think it was on our second visit there. We were doing a follow-up, and he's like, will you guys take this and get this out of here? And we went ahead and saged it, and we could run the meter on it now, and I'm sure there would be no reading on it. But in this case, the homeowner was very distressed by this item. Let's jump over to the spell book and talk about that quick. 30 minutes is going to go fast. We may have to push this out a couple minutes.
Maybe, because we need to get to that one.
Well, I'm having too much fun.
Well, obviously this came from Alexandria. But we did a case where she had actively engaged in witchcraft. She cast spells, and successful spells, as a matter of fact.
Right.
But she was being really troubled by things. And didn't it all start with her finding these?
Well, yeah,
like a spell in her backyard, and she dug it up. And
yeah, that's exactly how it happened. Yep.
Caused her problems, anyways. But
hello, Gina.
But she, at the end of it, she's like, "I want you to take this." We took some other things that she wanted.
Hello, Cheyenne.
And get rid of.
Melissa.
And this was one of them. So, yeah.
Yes, and like I say, we had to do a significant amount of work and research to break the energy off of that book.
Yeah, it took some time.
And some of these, it's not pretty. We have to go through a process to cleanse these items. I want to just talk about this rock quick. I don't even know if I said that right. Hello, Craig. So this is essentially, I guess, would you call it a salt rock?
No, this is
or not salt. It's a quartzite. No. Oh my gosh! If anybody can help us, we have forgotten what.
This purple is.
Yeah. But anyway, we were on a case, and at that case, they had somebody come into the house.
Yeah, amethyst. Yeah.
Amethyst. Thank you.
I forgot. That's what I was going for.
Yeah, we got many people that said, hey, yep. So, hello, Julie, Gina. Yep, they all know what it is, and we just kind of lost it. But anyway, long story short, that was brought in by somebody to help them because they had some spirits, and they're like, hey, we need some help. And we go in there, And this thing was like a brand new, shiny.
It looked like this more.
Yeah, everything looked like this. On the very nice part here. And within a couple weeks,
It cracked.
The coloring started changing on it, and it just got nasty. It just got nasty on them.
So she's like, yeah, get rid of it.
So, long story short is, perhaps it served a purpose of collecting up any energy, and it caused that thing to deteriorate. I can't explain it. I can't explain a lot of stuff about the supernatural, but hey, it is what it is. Let's hit 2 more items.
Let's do the mirror.
Okay, we have the mirror up there, and it's right by my dear friends.
Yep.
I don't actually have names for my clowns, but hello, Joe. But that mirror, originally that mirror was from out in Wisconsin, right, Mark?
Yeah, I think that's what she said.
Yeah. And it ended up with a family, stayed in the family, and that mirror ended up in Hutchinson,
Yeah.
Minnesota, where we went to do an investigation, and this mirror measured EMF, and electromagnetic energy,
Yep.
and then it didn't, and it just seemed like whatever the energy was kept looping around and going back. And we tried to sage it and cleanse it with holy water, and we couldn't seem to touch it at the time. So the lady said, please take that mirror. It's been a haunted mirror for as long as we know. And she said, I believe that the history of it is that somebody out in Wisconsin had said, a grandparent or something, about a native spirit that was attached to that mirror. Now that mirror has since been cleansed, and it's now just
gracing the ceiling
of my office. So, all right. Well, I think we're going to pick one last item. There's a lot of different items that are around.
Melissa's requesting the...
Okay, Melissa's requesting this last one we're going to do here. Hello, Aaron. All right. And we keep a cross over this particular item. I don't think it would absolutely be needed, but we do.
Oh.
And this here, it's not for the faint of heart, so to speak. But a long story short, yes, this is a box with a handful of knives that belonged to a family who lost these. They didn't lose them. These knives disappeared about a year before they called us out of their kitchen. These knives were gone from their house. They had no idea where they were. And we went to the house to do an investigation. And as I'm trying to cleanse, I'm saging, using sage to do a cleanse in the basement.
And you had holy water too.
And holy water, yep.
Because I had stepped out to replace the batteries.
Yep.
Excuse me, on the camera.
Yeah, because our batteries went dead.
Immediately. Yep. This knife came flying through the window that you were by.
Yeah, I'm in this small closet running the sage, and the small knife broke into the window, like it was thrown into the window in that room, and the window breaks.
And that glass breaking sound was so loud.
It sounded like a
big sheet of
picture
glass.
Window broke.
And it happened multiple times.
Yeah, I literally darn near dived to the ground. It was nasty.
So then this guy, the cleaver, was thrown out into the yard.
Yep.
And then this one replaced the crucifix we had on the stairs.
Yes, because we had used the crucifix.
Yeah, that one up there.
Our crucifix that we have, a blessed crucifix. And we had set it on the upstairs steps so that any dark energy would not try to circle around the house as we were trying to get it out of the house. And we blocked one of the doorways with some salt, some holy water, and the crucifix.
So let me rewind real quick before we hit this knife.
Yeah.
So I had gone into the living room down in the basement, just the other room from where Russ was, to replace the batteries in the camera. And while I was sitting there, that crucifix was thrown down the stairs like really hard, loud enough that you and the homeowner...
I thought you fell down the steps.
Yep.
That's how loud it was.
So it was violently thrown down the steps first. And then I had stepped outside, and when I came back in, this had replaced, point down, the crucifix. And it once again was thrown down the basement stairs.
That was the craziest thing I have experienced to this day. That crucifix was gone, and that center knife was leaned up against the step
to replace it, yeah.
And right where the crucifix had been sitting. They had been replaced one for one. That, yeah, it took my breath away when I seen that.
That was a violent.
Very violent. They're not all like that. I'm just kind of showing you and giving you the laydown of a very brief example of things that happen. And like I say, this was probably one of the first very, I don't want to use the word hard, but this was a tough location for you and I to cleanse and clear.
It was a fight.
It was a battle. And it involved these knives being thrown around the yard and the house.
And windows breaking.
And windows breaking 5, 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
The windows just kept shattering, breaking in the house.
And sounding like big plate glass windows at
yeah.
the time.
It was nasty.
Breaks, but yeah.
So, in essence, that's the nutshell of what we're going to show tonight. There's other items. A lot of the stuff we do dispose of, and we probably will do another video down the line on how to dispose of items, and we'll talk about that. We can't fit it all in because I think we're already past our time, but that's all right. I mean, do I really have a timeline? I don't think so.
Well, we just set half an hour.
Yeah, well, you know, kind of half an hour is a goal. Hello, Jody, Nicole, Shannon. But, so in essence, tonight we talked about items that have come from investigations that in some cases the family or business wanted to get rid of that item.
They did.
And so we went ahead and removed it from the house. And in some cases, some of the items we've kept as a memory of the testimony of what happened at that investigation. So that may be kind of hard for some to understand why we would keep some of these items, but it was...
And to be honest with you, it's safer here
than anywhere else.
Home, even safer than putting it in a dump.
Yep,
you know,
it is safe here. Because all these items have been taken care of, and each one in their own special way. It's not the same for everything. But hey, it's been great. Let's see if we get both of us on here. Whoop. Okay. I have to do the camera switch so we can say goodnight. So 7 o'clock, Tuesday nights. Every Tuesday night, that's our plan. That light is driving us nuts. We intend to do a Facebook Live, Search for Spirits. We're out there. We're talking about different experiences we've had. This is our 3rd week, I believe.
It is, yes.
And we're having a blast. I hope you guys like this stuff too. It really is fun to talk about it because, hey, we can't always get together. I can't get together with Christian and Julie and Jackie and Lori, and I don't have time to talk to every single one of you one at a time. I wish I did. I'd love to. But this is our way to share some of our experiences with you. So next Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, and next Tuesday, I think we're talking about, we're going to talk about sage and holy water.
And salts.
And
all
salts.
kinds of
Probably
different things.
those 3 primaries. And we're going to talk about all the different uses for them. And a lot of times it's not, people don't realize all the different things you can use it for. So I want to thank you all for watching tonight. If you just got on, feel free to jump ahead to the start of this thing and watch this. A lot of cool information on here tonight. And please hit the likes, the shares, all that business. This will be on YouTube probably within 24 hours. And go ahead and I encourage you to go on there and hit the like button and the subscribe button. And we really appreciate all you for taking your time checking us out. So, all right, everybody. Good night.
Peace out.